Hello, yogis, and welcome to our restorative yoga class. In today's session, we are going to slow things down, take a break from the hustle and bustle, and really come into our center. You'll need a bolster and 2 blocks for this practice. Let's begin by placing a block at the top of the mat on the middle setting, and then propping the bolster up on the block. Place your tailbone against the back of the bolster, soles of the feet touch, knees open wide, and recline onto the bolster, allowing the arms to open up to the sides, the chest to expand. Take a few moments to find your position here. Get out any fidgets and wiggles. Let's settle into our practice with a breathing exercise known as box breathing. Begin by exhaling completely. And now let's breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Release that box breathing pattern and come back to your normal breath. Just allow the breath to be soft and gentle. On your next breath in, reach down with the palms and gently press your knees up to face the sky. Then set your hands on the earth and softly bring yourself up to a seat. Let's take that bolster now and bring it to the top of the mat. Place it about a foot in front of you, and then we'll set the feet on top of the bolster, soles of the feet touch. And then reach around, find your block, place that on top of the feet, and let's come into a forward fold. So this position can be a little intense on the hips. If you find that your bolster lifts the feet too high, you can simply replace the bolster with your second block. So we're externally rotating the hips, opening through the knees, rounding through the back, resting the forehead on the block. Always take your first few breaths to find your place of comfort in the pose, and then settle into stillness with a soft and gentle breath. On your next inhale, begin to lengthen through your spine and draw yourself back up tall. Let's take that bolster and set it off to the side of the mat. And then we'll come into a heart opener. Take your 2 blocks and place those so that one will align directly under your shoulder blades and the other one under the head. So you want to have the middle block on the mid setting, so not the tallest and not the flattest, so right in the middle, and then have the block that's underneath your head on that same level. So we've got a big heart opener here. Legs extend long, arms open wide to the sides of the body. So we're getting a heart expansion as well as a chest and shoulder expansion. Come into your soft breathing. Be present with your body. Use this practice to align the body and the mind with the breath. The breath is the uniting force between the two. Begin to deepen your breath and softly bend your knees. Place your palms underneath the tailbone. Come onto the elbows and press yourself up to a seat. Let's set the blocks to the side of the mat. And then come into a straddle. So in this straddle, we want to just feel sensation on the inside of the legs. I like to point my toes and flex the feet here. And it changes day to day. Sometimes I'll point the toes in this pose, sometimes I'll flex them. So notice what your body is asking for today. With a straight spine, creating length between the vertebrae, walk your hands out as far as you can, hinging at the hips. And when you've reached the depth of your pose, I'd like you to rest your head on a block, or you can even stack 2 blocks on top of one another, changing the height to get just the right height to support your head and neck. Once you've found your place in the pose, settle in with a deep breath. And then come back to soft, gentle breathing. See how present you can be Notice when the mind darts off to something else outside of this practice. Just be aware of it, and as soon as you have the awareness that the mind is drifting, gently bring it back, noticing the breath again, inhaling and exhaling. On your next breath in, begin to walk yourself back up tall to a seat. And then gently bend the knees. Spin around on your mat so you can come down into a flat back position. Bring a block with you. And we'll move into a supported bridge pose. So we would like to have the knees the same distance apart as the hip bones, toes facing forward, or maybe even just a little out for this supported variation. Place the block under your tailbone and you choose the level. So you might want it on the high level as I'm using, or choose the medium or low level, your choice. Arms comfortably far apart from the body. And then just allow the pelvis to sink into the block. And at the same time, energetically lift the heart. So not using any muscles here, but just an action of energy so that the heart is not collapsing down into the chest, but rather lifting up and open. Find your deep breath. Allow your mind to settle as the body stills. Gently lift your hips just enough to change the setting of that block to the lowest, flattest side, keeping it underneath the tailbone. Let's extend the left leg long and pull the right knee into the chest and out just a little bit toward the armpit. Press into the left leg, pointing the left toes down to the earth, opening up the front of the left hip flexor, and then just stay here and breathe. Softly release the right leg, extending it long onto the mat. On your inhale, pull the left knee into the chest and then open it ever so slightly out toward the left armpit. Point through the right toes, extending long through that right leg, opening through the right hip flexor. Imagine sending your breath into any tight spaces. Gently release that leg onto the earth and take a full body stretch, arms overhead, legs extended. And then we'll rebend the knees, lift the hips, slide the block out to the side of your mat. And then make your way back up to a seat just so that you can grab your bolster and place it underneath the knees, and then make your way back down onto your back. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your abdomen. Feel the breath. That breath is your connection to life energy. It's moving through you all the time. And when you bring your awareness to it, you increase the life force flowing through your body, flowing through your mind. That life force is healing, it's calming, it's soothing. So rest here for a few more minutes with your awareness rooted to the breath. Bring both hands to your heart center, one on top of the other. We'll close out our practice here in Shavasana. Hands resting on top of one another. Just feel that you're breathing life and energy into this heart space. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Feel free to stay here in this Shavasana as long as you'd like. We'll close out our practice here. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.